All right, it looks like everybody is present. So today is May 7th, 2020. The time is now 7 minutes after 7, and I will call to order this regular meeting of the Perry City Council. With us tonight is our fire chaplain, who is our designated invocation speaker for tonight. Welcome in, Mr. Walt Saxton. The floor is yours, sir.
Let's all bow our heads for prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus. Lord, we know that we have this COVID-19 going around. We pray, Lord, that this doesn't hit our little town, that you protect us, Lord, from this, and just put a hedge of protection around us to grant us safety and peace, Lord. Keep us, Lord, in your watch care. Help us to all work together and give us the wisdom we need to be the people you want us to be, to lead our communities. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Walt. I appreciate it. You're welcome to stay with us or to leave anytime you wish.
Thank you.
Councilman Elliott and I are here in the council chambers, along with two members of the audience, our Planning Commission Chairman, Mr. Bob Otke, and Billy Roback. If everybody would please join us, we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag
of the United States
of America,
and to the
republic
for which it
And
stands,
to the republic,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
That was
Devin,
terrible.
Genevieve Cottrell.
Here.
Craig Elliott.
Here.
Mindy Galbavy.
Here.
Adam Grass.
Here.
Christopher Powell.
Here.
Terry Wood.
Here.
Mayor James Hughlett.
here.
Everybody is present.
Very good. Thank you. That will move us to approval of the agenda. The clerk and I have prepared the agenda. To the best of our knowledge, it has all items of business that need to come before council for your consideration tonight.
I can't tell what anyone is saying. It's Did
Sorry,
you hear
Mindy,
me?
I'll try again, Mindy. The clerk and I have prepared the agenda, and to the best of our knowledge, it has all items that need to come before council for your consideration
It's
tonight.
just breaking up
and
so
I'm
bad I
submitting it
can't
to
tell
you.
what you're saying.
It must be a connection problem.
Mindy,
I'm
can
submitting
you
the
hear me or anybody else?
Yes, we can hear you, Chris.
Okay, I was just going to say I move that the agenda be adopted as printed. If Mindy could hear that.
No, I can't tell what you're saying at all.
Mindy,
I'm
why don't
sorry,
you
hon.
call the cell phone and we'll see if we can get you better audio through the phone system. Not sure she can hear me. See if I can fix this.
I'll second that motion while we're waiting.
Terry,
Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, if you could see this, you're not in my way anymore. So we could get used to this.
My chair looks better now, don't it?
Yeah, because you got a hat on. I miss everybody, and I hope tonight we're finding everybody in good health.
Mindy, this is James. Can you hear me better now?
Just a second.
I'm going back to the computer.
Okay.
Okay, you can talk.
Okay, I'm trying to do this so that we can make this easier for you to hear what's being said. I've got you near my system here, and hopefully you come through all right. I was submitting the agenda to council for their approval or amendment, and I have a motion from Councilman Powell, seconded by Councilman Wood, to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay.
Is there any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none. All in favor? Oh, wait a minute. We have to do a roll call on everything because we're doing this by Zoom. So, let's see. Councilwoman Galvin,
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilman Wood,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott,
Yes.
Councilman Councilwoman Cottrell.
Yes.
Okay, I only checked off 5. Who did I?
Grass.
Apologies.
Yes.
Oh, Councilman Grass. Thank you, Adam. I have a list there somewhere with all your names on it, and I seem to have mislaid it. So the agenda is approved as printed. That will move us to reading and approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. I'll open the floor for discussion or motions and minutes.
I move that we
move that
suspend the
the-
rules and waive, approve the minutes from the April 15th, 2020 special meeting.
Support.
Motion?
Sound like someone seconded.
Did someone second?
I did.
I heard
seconded.
Powell
I
second.
supported.
Okay.
Terry
Moved
Wood.
by Councilman Elliott, seconded by Councilman Wood, to approve the minutes as presented. Is there discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Councilwoman Cantrell,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Galbavy,
Yes.
Councilman Grass,
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilman Wood.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. That will move us to pre-approved reports and presentations. We don't have any of those tonight. So we are now at 7:15, which is scheduled for a redetermination of costs for the City of Perry ambulance service. Devin, do you have a report on this for council?
Yes. I have made a call to Guy Hubbard and he is asking for the increase. The highest increase that council can do is 10%. And so that's the recommendation. And you have a resolution farther down in the agenda to consider that 10%. Or you can leave it the same, but I'm just saying that's his recommendation.
Are we doing a public hearing on this, Devin? Usually when we have a specific time, that's an opportunity for public to separately address this question.
I missed half of your speech, Mr. Mayor.
I said that this is labeled as a 7:15 when it's a specific time. That usually means we're doing a public hearing, and so people have an opportunity to comment specifically on this. Is that what this item is?
No, it's just in the resolution that every year, the first meeting in May at 7:15, this determination will be discussed by council.
Okay. So then we'll move to the next part of the agenda, which is public comment. It is at this time during our meeting And at the end, under any other business may come before council, that we give the public an opportunity to address the council on anything that they have on their mind. We do have a 3-minute time limit on public comment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first ask the folks who are here in council chambers if they would like an opportunity to address council, and then we'll open it up to folks who are with us by Zoom. Billy or Bob, would you like to speak? Thank you very much. Would anyone joining us on Zoom like to address the council on any item? I can't tell if a hand's being raised. Devin, are there any hands?
I have no hands raised.
Okay, then we'll close this section of public comment and we'll move on to communications. Devin, do you have any communications for city council?
Not tonight.
Okay, then we will move to mayor and department head reports. Let's go with Chief Fox. Chief, you have a report for council tonight?
Yes, Mayor, I do. Real quick, just to give you a rundown on the current status we're in as far as the police department goes during the pandemic. Starting the beginning of April, actually it was April 1st, we started pre-shift self-screenings that each officer fills out. It's a short question, and they also take their temperature and sign off on that temperature with the date stating that everything that they know about themselves is well enough to be working. We got this from the Emergency Operations Center up in Corona and the health department, and it seems to be working very well. And I have quite a stack of pre-shift screenings that I'm keeping track of. But thankfully, we're all safe and healthy and able to determine that we're safe to work as well. That being said, we have been very graciously supplied with a lot of personal protection equipment, or otherwise known as PPE. A lot of that includes surgical masks and or homemade masks that have been donated to us by just community members, all the way down to the Howell area. Actually, they've driven them up to us and provided them just in case we need them. And so I'm very gracious for that, or grateful for that. We've been supplied by the health department and the Office of Emergency Management with a lot of surgical masks. We have an abundance of them. Through the health department, we actually have several of the N95 masks as well. So the officers can pick and choose what they feel they need for whatever situation they're walking into. We also have several pairs of safety glasses. We have at least 2 each of full face masks, or not masks, but shields, full clear plastic that completely is a barrier for the officers. So depending on, again, the situation that they're going into or they're dealing with, they can put that on and have full protection from their forehead down to well below their chin. We have several boxes of gloves that we've had donated by the health department and also Perry Fire. We have a large container of hand sanitizer that we've been able to refill our smaller containers that we keep in the police cars and throughout the police department, so that we don't have the opportunity to wash our hands, we can quickly sanitize them. We also have a large container, a gallon-sized container of disinfectant that's been donated by Perry Fire that they utilize in their equipment and their ambulances. We have Tyvek suits from the Sheriff's Department and the Office of Emergency Management. So if we're in a long-term situation where we're going to be there for several hours and we feel the need, we can completely suit up with those. We actually, I was able to find some decon kits for the police cars. So you actually let this chemical reaction go off in the car for about 4 hours, and it kills everything and deodorizes everything in the police car. So if we have an incident that we need to decontaminate the vehicles, we have the ability to do that. I have a Plexi Shield ordered for our police counter in City Hall. It's 4x2, so it should cover the majority of that span on the counter to just create a barrier for anybody who makes. And we also purchased a thermometer, a contactless thermometer, so that the officers can do that pre-screening or shift screening evaluation. So that's just a rundown of some of the equipment that we've been able to have on hand. During this time, we've also made 27 food deliveries with our cooperation that we have through Carl's Supermarket. And a lot of those are repeat customers, if you will, but several of them are not, and one-time use. Kept track of some of the loose information regarding that, but it's kind of about half of who's repeated and used us to have groceries, food, goods delivered to them. But that's been a good cooperation with Carl's, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback regarding that. And I was a little apprehensive at first. I didn't know how the officers would feel about delivering groceries during this time, and I was really impressed with the response, and the officers were very much looking forward to the opportunity to serve the community in this way. We've participated in several birthday parades for young people who have had birthdays but yet been shut in the house, and so that's been fun to work in cooperation with the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department, and trying to get those kids to smile, and that's been a lot of fun to be a part of. I will tell you that our call volume has been down tremendously, and I attribute that to our fantastic community that we serve. They have responded well, and I'm very grateful that we're not running call to call, house to house, dealing with petty things. They seem to be taking care of things and not putting our officers in harm's way, creating a situation where we need to make contact with them. So if we can handle it by phone, we are doing that. If we need to do it in person, we're still doing that as well. But I will tell you that Perry has responded positively and very well through this pandemic. Other than that, I don't have anything unless council has questions for me.
Council have any questions for the chief? I don't hear any.
Chief?
Is
Hello?
Joanne with us tonight? I know she was upstairs. Chris, go ahead.
Kyle?
See her on.
Go ahead,
I
Council.
had it up. I got it wet. Okay, Chief, you said that we had people donating, not just businesses or other municipalities, but individuals as well?
Yes, we have.
Okay. That's, and I think a lot of that is because of you. And I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're still healthy.
Thank you very much.
That's all I have. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is the treasurer with us? I know she was upstairs.
I don't see her.
Okay. Devin, did you have a report for council tonight?
I do.
Go ahead.
The first report would be on the favorite question is petitions and who will be running for what seats. I can report that there are two 2-year terms, 3 4-year terms. There is nobody running opposed to anybody. There's a 1 2-year term mayor seat. Sue Hammond has filed a petition. 1 2-year city council seat. Mindy Galvey has put her petitions in, and 3 4-year city council seats have petitions sent in. That would be Terry Wood, incumbent, Larry Lambert, and Bob Porter. And due to that there is no opposers, this will go to a November election, not an August primary. Also, another question that continues to trickle down and ask if I know anything. At this time, the state is still planning to move forward with the August election as an open to the polls, you can walk in. Anybody who wants to vote absentee, if you go to our website on my page, I always have an application that is through the state. So it's as accurate as the election that is on the table. So you're always able to use that application to receive a ballot. So feel free to use that or call our office and we will get you set up for the August and November election. While I am talking about that, I've also got word from the state that this August election, when you do an absentee for an application, it must be another dual application. Now, I say this to the public because this is going to complicate several of them because in March they were offered a dual application, but it was for May and it was for November. So a lot of them have already asked for a November ballot and they're going to be asked again. If they don't mark November on this dual application, and they did on the first time, they are still going to get a November ballot. I'm going to work through a process to make a chart of who's asked it, because as this is coming in, a lot of my seniors do this, and the state, in my opinion, is complicated this process for them to understand of what they should be marking and what they shouldn't on this. But I will make sure I have double checks and train Shirley to help me to watch those so that everybody is on task and understands it. The next item I wanted to speak about is there is a possible approval of a pet waste receptacles with a grant on the agenda. I'm still asking for that as an agenda item to be considered. The only thing that I might add is today I received an email, no explanation, but it's obvious. The deadline to go for that grant was May 1st and the city complied to try to get $2,000 grant. They've extended it to June 1st, and then they will report who will receive this grant now, July 1st. So they've extended both deadlines 1 month out. And so I just want to make you aware of that because you have a copy of the grant and it says that it'll tell who received those grants June 1st, and that is now a month out. Another thing that has been coming through our office a lot, and I'm going to, these are no guarantees. This is just the best to our knowledge. The yard sales at this time are still canceled. The cleanup that we're doing, the hope is to do this in June, but Granger has stipulations of not being able to bring large items. And so until they get their release to be able to pick up large items, we will communicate with the community as fast as we can, in as much ways as we can to let you know. But the plan is, and John's been in communication with Granger, to find out when those restrictions can be lifted so that we can offer this service to the city. John can report. I didn't coordinate if he's heard anything sooner, so he can follow up and correct me if he knows more than I know. Also, we do this about every 2 years. Shiawassee County gets a grant to go to different municipalities to offer household hazardous waste collection. Again, we usually coordinate that with our citywide yard sales and our cleanup. We have been in communication with the county. They've offered us alternative dates. So tentatively, the new date will be August 8th. And if you look on our website, that should be updated. Of course, we know that the governor is continually making changes, so there are no guarantees, but these are questions that are asked of us. Another one that's being asked is Memorial Day Parade. Dory has been in communication with the VFW to ask them. of course, because they're closed and they're not doing the meeting, we can't tell you yes or no. We can assume that it's going to be tricky now that it's been extended to the 28th, but I cannot tell you yes or no whether the Memorial Day parade is going to happen or be canceled. Another thing is today there was administrative order that was sent for our office staff, city employees to put into play. The plan is to open City Hall on Monday. Dory was with me today and she has worked very well. She's put on Facebook a little visual and you'll be able to see what we've done to the office. There's been procedures set for the public to follow. There has been procedures set for the employees to follow. There are arrows and descriptions of how to come in. And we also have a barrier that is set on the counter to make Shirley's job protected. That all staff have been offered. They have the gloves available to them. They have masks that have been given to them, or they can wear their own. And if you have any questions about this, please just let me know. For the public, I will read the simple rules that we have just so that it is on the public. City of Perry COVID-19 procedures for the public for 5/11/2020. Lobby will be limited to visitors that complete the questions asked on the instructions in quotes before entering this facility. Wear a mask and use sanitizer. All common areas will have chairs removed. Customer service will have an added sneeze guard and tape marking that limits area to social distancing requirements. Upstairs and elevator will be limited to employees only. Customers will be encouraged to conduct business in a timely manner. And that's all I have to report tonight. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Devin, how do you feel?
I have a question, Devin.
Adam, go ahead, and then we'll do Mr. Powell.
Devin,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step.
You're okay, Chris.
Devin, how are you and the staff feeling about going back to work at that point in time?
I feel that
Is
we're
this something
being
you're pushing
safe.
for?
I don't, this was the mayor's process to move us forward. And he specifically asked us first if we were going to feel safe to do it. He asked whether we would be okay with it.
And everyone was okay with that? Shirley, Dory, yourself?
At this time, we know what to do and to be safe. We also have the police department supporting. Kyle's made it quite clear that if anybody is stepping over the line or even maybe their welcome is a little bit longer than it should, because that gives us more exposure, that he will help us guide and be polite for people. We're trying to do everything that the order is asking us to do to make it safe for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm really asking you outside the order, Devin. Is this something you guys are wanting to do? I understand there's safety procedures put in place, but is there hesitancy on the part of the staff?
I don't know how to answer that. I kind of feel on the spot on that, but
I can report one additional thing to you, Adam. One of the things I've done is I've offered some flexibility in scheduling for city staff who says that they feel unsafe, and nobody has asked for a change in their scheduling or for the flexibility. So I take that to mean, at least at this time, that they're comfortable with going forward. I haven't received any objections from staff, and I have an open mind on this, and I'm going to be very flexible to make sure that our staff is safe. That is to
Chris,
say, if
when you're
somebody
done,
says,
I want the
I've
floor.
got a medical issue
Did we check with the attorney on that issue?
up and then I'm flexible.
Adam,
We asked Mr.
I
Wood-
just I did not ask Mr. Bridges about the executive order.
Well,
I
that's more
just, I have
to the
been
mayor, I
working
think.
diligently. Okay, sorry.
Oh, I know you have, Devin. I don't doubt that. Yeah, I don't doubt that. James, did we talk to Tom Bridges about that one?
I did not. He does receive copies
all I
of
have.
all of these things, and we haven't heard a comment from him regarding it. City Hall was closed on my order, so I'm opening it back up on mine.
Didn't our governor have anything to do with closing it down? And I'm not being disrespectful, James. I'm just a question, sir.
I understand, Chris. Yes, there was a great deal of concern, and the governor put executive orders in place to deal with a lot of these, the things were coming up. And I shared her concern for the well-being of everybody here at the city. And that's why we shut things down when we did, and for as long as we did, in order to make sure that the public was kept safe and that the staff at the city was kept as safe as we possibly could make them. We've been working on this for quite a while on how to restore services to the people of Perry and to do so in a way that's safe for them and to do it for the safety of the staff. So what the governor has been doing and saying had played a tremendous role in the choices we've made up to them.
And there's no way for the office staff to continue to telework or to do work remotely?
Yeah, we can keep City Hall closed. We've been bringing them in shifts here and there and trying to maintain minimal services.
I have a question when you're done.
We can leave things basically where, go ahead, Terry.
I just
My
want to add
question is
before
to
Mr.
Devin,
Wood
has
talks.
this-
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Terry. Go.
Let's do
All I
three and
wanted
then
to
let's
say
have Devin.
was Genevieve has respectfully used the hand signal to take a turn, and I don't know if you guys can see that. So her hand was up before Mr. Wood asked to speak, and I don't know how you want to do this, but I just want to make
Okay.
a point of that.
That's fine.
She's still
Okay,
muted.
I can only see 4.
Tried to unmute her. Oh, she's there. She's good. Genevieve, can you hear me?
Genevieve, go.
Okay.
I can hear everybody. Did the extension of the stay safe, stay at home order on Governor Whitmer's part today, did that play in your decision to reopen City Hall since that's been extended till the 28th?
I haven't updated on her order from today, but the last order that I reviewed from her, I took into consideration and read through before we made any decisions.
We have Chris holding his hand up, and then Mr. Wood wanted to speak.
Mr. Powell.
Okay. I was going in along with what Mr. Grass was talking about. Is the risk reward factor is what my main concern is. But because you didn't hear the governor's report today, only 592 people had a confirmed case today, and 93 people died. And I want to make sure anything we do with the girls in the office, the men in the DPW, and the police officers, I want to make sure that we don't have to take any unnecessary risks. The barber shop in Owasso, hey, you know, I hope our officers are, and I don't think it's the officers, the sheriff department, but he was summoned twice, 2 $500 tickets. Then he decided not to give him any more. And I think it's ridiculous. And I just don't want that to happen to our city employees, any of them. And that's all I have to say. Terry?
My turn.
Go ahead, Terry.
My question is this, Devin, has the city been able to function with the way it's currently being done?
Yes.
So we are managing business with a reduced risk and a safety and factor in mind. And the governor extended it today to stay at home. I guess my thoughts on that is if we're running the city and we're doing okay the way it is, why change the risk? Why open it up and put people in harm's way? If we can run the city the way it is now, and the girls are up there safe, then I say we continue the way it is now.
Well, Terry, I've been in consultation with the other cities around, and my understanding is that they're looking at opening up the buildings soon. They're taking safety precautions. I spoke this week with the mayor of Owasso, who advised me that they are on the verge of reopening their city hall in the very near future. And we've been working to take steps to make sure that the staff can be protected. I don't believe we're creating any substantial risks to the staff. I think if I can put a mask on and social distance and go into Carl's Market and be safe, then I think as long as we take the appropriate precautions, we can safely restore services to the public here from the city. The police officers have been on duty as essential. We've changed procedures and we haven't had any problems with the police officers. We've been able to protect them. Our Department of Public Works has been declared essential and has been kept on duty, and they've been working. We've been able to keep them safe. I think going through this process, we've learned enough that we can restore services and keep the ladies in the office safe and be more available to the public. I think at some point in time, we have to come out from under the rocks that we've been hiding under. And the question becomes when. And I think we've had the time to adjust our procedures and learn enough that we can do so in a way that keeps the staff safe.
Well, we're not any other city. Okay, we are Perry, and that's my concern is Perry right now. And right now, Devin's telling me that we've been able to run the city safely and everything's going okay. The governor is being led by people that know what the heck they're doing, the doctors, the smart people. I'm not a smart guy, but she's being led by that. She's giving me a guidance to go by. And as long as we can run this city and keep those girls home and safe, I go for that. Now, I understand the cops have to be on duty. We don't have much choice with that. Same with the DPW. Somebody must do those things. But if we are running this city the way it currently is, then we keep the girls safe. Let them stay at home or let them come in like they have been. It's been working pretty well. And that's where I'm at with this.
Yeah, and on that, I mean, if Devin, is there anything that you guys have to be in that office for? Is there some kind of service that we're not providing with you guys not being present, or is there something other than just contact and request of information? Is there something that I'm not understanding here?
Notaries, I'm setting up appointments appropriately if I can do that. I would think that possibly there's situations that are starting to happen with construction. So there may be in-person meetings for building inspector, zoning administrator. I know at this point, Leyland has been just checking in and working through emails and accommodate accordingly.
So something that can continue by appointment?
You know, I appreciate you're asking me this, but there's also so many other people. I kind of feel pressured to answer as a whole, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
I hope you understand that situation. For me,
You're
it's
in a delicate position too.
It's going to be elections for me, but again, that's probably at least another 30 days out where I can still do it here. But the only thing that we're running into is in office, we're running into deadlines with taxes and budgets and different things like that. That the last week, I put in an in-office procedure only because we are starting to have to come together, our city office, as more than one person at a time. Where when this first started out, the schedule seemed to be fine. And we were either splitting half days or one person getting that full day to be able to accommodate. We are starting one into things where we need each other. But as the public, so far we've been able to manage that, but I'm not always the front line. Again, you're asking me something that maybe the girls have delayed and told them you'll have to wait until City Hall opens, to be fair. Dory and Shirley get the brunt on a lot of that is requesting something in service where they would coordinate with one of the inspectors or, with John or something in that order.
Devin,
hope
this
that
is
makes
Terry
sense.
again. Devin, this is
I
Terry.
do not.
I understand you're between a rock and a hard place, okay? And I understand that. But if we're managing and you can buy another week, 2 or 3, every time you buy a little longer, maybe find some more treatment or another drug or maybe a vaccine that would help protect your kids, your husband, or whatever. My case, my great grandkids or whoever's around me. But this is something we don't know anything about. It's a dead virus you can't kill dead. It's there. But if we can run this city the way we've been doing it and keep you girls safe, I mean, you can run one on one side of the room and one on the other side. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And still run it. That's where I'm at. I think we keep the caution in hand.
I'd like to say something.
Okay, well, let's recognize Mindy
Hello?
and Genevieve. Let's recognize Mindy and Genevieve has raised her hand and wanted to speak. So Mindy, go ahead and then we'll hear Genevieve.
I just want to let you know, I do not think it's appropriate to open City Hall at this time.
Thank you, Mindy. Genevieve?
2 questions I wanted to clarify. I know you haven't had a chance to talk to the city attorney about it. I do know that MIOSHA is aggressively pursuing complaints and concerns about businesses and other entities who do not have a written policy in place that they have trained their employees on. And it has very specific guidance on what that training and what that plan must look like. So if City Hall is going to proceed with opening, I would suggest running that by the city attorney to make sure that the city of Perry has met our obligation under MIOSHA to train and adequately inform our employees. And also in that plan and in general, what would be the trigger that we would close City Hall again? When would we know that we're good? What would happen at the county or local or county or state level that would require the City Hall to be closed again if it does indeed reopen next week?
We would certainly be paying attention to what's coming from the governor's office and from the president's office, updates regarding the spread of the coronavirus. If this thing started to resurge, we would certainly have to reconsider our decision to open up. If we get reports that it's resurging in the states and the risk has been increased to the employees, that would all come from the leadership here in the state, and we would be paying close attention to that. It's hard for me to be real precise because I'm reluctant to draw a specific line because I want to be listening to those experts all through that process. And that would be where we would be looking for our guidance on a time when we might have to rethink and take a step back.
Okay.
I know that the governor has opened things up for businesses to open up, require them to provide curbside service. And so we're following her lead and starting to open things up more. And if she starts to scale it back, or if the president starts to scale things back, we would certainly have to rethink what we're doing.
Okay, does the city of Perry have a written plan right now for its city employees that is MIOSHA defensible?
I have not bounced it off of MIOSHA. I have done it some comparables more in a Shiawassee County or Shiawassee, I'm sorry. Kyle, help me with what I'm trying to do. Shiawassee Health Department. So
Health
I've
Department.
utilized tools from them is what I've been using.
Yeah.
And I also had a city that was comparable. I'm not going to say names, but I used a lot of them that seemed to be following what I heard the governor say. But if I challenged it to OSHA rules and whether it be comply, I have not.
I can supply the city with those guidance documents from OSHA about what a COVID-19 employee policy needs to look like. So just let me know if you want those documents.
We'll take all the information that we can get our hands on. The safety of the employees is a high priority for us, right at the top of the list. And so if you've got some information that will help us make sure we've got the best possible plan, we would want to look at that and we would want to build that into the system.
I would actually
James?
maybe send that until those are in place, that that perhaps pumping the brakes a bit on until we know that our written plan is in place. We have some markers before we go ahead.
Second,
Mr. Mayor?
Terry?
Yeah. Well, why don't you tally the council, see how they feel about opening City Hall?
What do you mean tally the council?
Don't you see what the council wants to do, whether they want it opened up or want to keep the girls home yet? Or rotating like they have been?
Well, council's here right now. What do you want to do, Terry?
Well, I say we keep it closed as long as they can run. Now, when Devin tells me that it's getting critical time that they have to do some of these things, we'll take a look at doing the things that have to be done. But keep them safe. I mean, we've been pretty fortunate here in the city as far as numbers go, but I don't want to open it up and say, oh, wow, here, you shouldn't have done that. I think we keep it closed. And that's my opinion. Keep the girls safe. And then when Devin tells me that she has no choice, she's got to get some people in here. If they can't do it from across the room or at a safe distance, then we'll look at it.
I agree.
I'm done.
I agree
Okay,
with what
so-
Am I
Genevieve
making a
said.
move?
Genevieve, I'm sorry, hon.
Is this a just?
What, if OSHA says A, B, C, D, we gotta do it. Let's take our time and address this at the next meeting. We have to get back to work, and that's not a doubt, but let's do it safe. Let's do it by how OSHA tells us to, because there's a reason, as you know, they have a system, checks and balances, and Genevieve, I think you're right on the money.
Do I hear this as a
So what-
discussion and it's going to be put under other business?
Okay, we can get into it under any other business and touch on it there, and council can express its will. I certainly have no problem with following what OSHA and MyOSHA are telling us. We've been looking to the county health department, who's been providing us tremendous amount of guidance to businesses on how to safely reopen, and that's how we've been approaching this. But let's hear from you guys when we get into business. Is there anything else council wants to ask the clerk?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
John? Let's get our report from the Department of Public Works Superintendent, John Souter.
Good evening. We did the water tower inspection, so I should be getting word back on that in probably 4 to 6 weeks. I have postponed hydrant flushing until June. We are working on doing some low flow flushing in certain areas, dead ends, that type of thing. As far as cleanup week, as soon as I get confirmation that some of the executive orders will be lifted for Granger employees or to pick up, mattresses, that type of stuff that is not big, large items, bulk items, that information will roll out. Other than that, we've been doing regular DPW work, water, sewer, street stuff. On Monday, I'm gonna brief this, and how we go from there will be up to council. I believe there is a motion, but the Historical Society, Mr. Robeck brought several bids to me that the Historical Society wants to do work on the McQueen House, and they are paying for all of it. So they want to replace some gutters on the single-story portion, put Bilco doors on a portion where there was some old wooden doors that have been covered with metal roofing, do some interior plumbing and electrical work, and update the electrical service. So this stuff, I'm just briefing it as it has come to me. How to handle it, I guess, will be up to you guys. So the bids were given to me with no prices on them. So I do have some figures, but I don't have them on an official estimate or quote. So that's pretty much all I have.
For John.
Genevieve, do you have your hand up?
I don't know how to take it down. I think you have to take it down for me as the
Thank
host.
you. Again, all these little things I'm still learning. I just took it down. Thank you for letting me know.
I have some questions on the McQueen House. I see we got a motion on here. Is that, I got to dig out my agenda here. I got little space, lots of papers. Where are we at? Is that McQueen House? Okay, never mind. I'll get into it on the discussion of the McQueen House.
Okay.
I pass.
That's all I have, unless someone has any questions for me.
Thanks, John.
Thank
you.
Is Joanne around with us? I don't see her on the Zoom. Okay, so we don't have a report treasurer at this time. Let's move on to committee report. Do council member have any committee reports for us tonight? Not hearing any, I assume there are no committee reports. So we will move to presentation and approval of the bills. Council's had an opportunity to review the bills. We seek your permission to pay them.
I move that we approve the bills as presented and that payment be authorized.
Moved by Wood, seconded by Elliott, that the bills be approved as presented and payment be authorized. Is there discussion on the bills? Then we'll take the vote. Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Galbavy,
Yes.
Councilman Grass,
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilman Wood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cottrell.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. That will move us on to the first item of old business, which is discussion regarding post-retirement benefits. Based on our last meeting, we had talked about putting together a work group to speak with employees. I've had numerous volunteers for the employees. So far, Mindy and I are the only two, Mindy is the only council member and myself are the only two that volunteered for the work group. Has anybody else had a chance to think about this and want to volunteer for the work group on council? Okay, not seeing anybody else who's interested in participating. Mindy and I will work on this. We're waiting for the crisis to pass before we go forward because we think it's going to take some opportunity to sit down with the employees and go over the details of what's happening here and what their interests are. So we'll take it in hand. If anybody else changes their mind and wants to be part of the discussion, you just need to let us know and we'll gladly welcome another council member into this discussion. Can I have council's consent to remove this from the agenda until Mindy and I have had a chance to work on it?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we'll take this off the next agenda.
So it was
That
moved
takes
by
us
Wood.
to-
I'm sorry, Mayor, this was a motion. It was moved by Wood. Who did the second, please?
I did.
Thank you.
What was your motion, Terry? To table indefinitely?
Just to remove it, table it. You don't even need a motion, just table it.
Table it indefinitely. It's a motion, done.
Okay,
I'll cancel
so motion.
Did
Okay.
you say unemotion?
I didn't catch that.
Nothing, I'm sorry.
Okay, so then let's move on to the next item of old business, which is discussion of repairs to McQueen House. Now, there are several items for you tonight. There are the repair bids that Mindy had requested that we had talked about at the previous meetings related to the city finance one. And we have also the proposal from the Historical Society, which came in on Tuesday after the agenda was issued. But since we've got discussion of repairs in McQueen House, we can take all of those up at this time. So let me open up the floor for council for questions and discussion about what you'd like to do regarding the proposed repairs by the city and also the proposal to authorize repairs from the Historical Society.
I'm looking for the possible room determinants. I'm looking for the motion on the McQueen House here.
Terry, that wasn't hard copy delivered to you due to that it just came in on Tuesday, just what, so you know.
Oh, so I'm lost then, huh?
No, you just don't have it right in front of you.
Okay. Well, the my understanding is they've gotten 3 quotes and they got 3 guys ready to go to do some repairs. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes. And they're looking for authorization from the city as the owner to authorize them to proceed with the repairs. I sent the information over to the city attorney who drafted an appropriate motion for council to be able to give that authorization.
Why
You also received-
do we need it going through the city attorney just to approve the repairs?
He's not approving the repairs. He drafted an appropriate motion that would allow you to authorize it.
Oh, we didn't know we needed him to do them. Okay. Something new, I thought.
Well, we want to make we want to make sure that we properly give authorization if that's what we're going to do. There was also a letter from the city attorney regarding the matter.
Yeah, I think that's I guess, you know, I don't know. That thing just really bugs me. I guess I see he redacted out the numbers. I talked to him and I asked him, I said, what about the numbers? He's asked me, I'll give them to you. Now, I don't know. Is he there?
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Billy, this is Terry Wood speaking. Can you hear me?
I understand.
Could you give us those numbers real briefly?
Yes, sir. We originally connected those numbers because those bid numbers are private information, but we're more than willing to share those numbers with members of council at this time. The bid with Keach Electric Service and Perry is for a complete rewiring of the home. That's a new service, all new wiring, termination of all the knob and tube, updates of the lighting inside the home, emergency lighting on the 2 exits, updating the electrical service in the basement, the entire wiring process. With the new electrical service from Consumers Energy, we're right at $11,000.
And
Second
my
bid
understanding
is from Perry Plumbing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, the second bid is to remove and replace the entire plumbing system in the home. That's new drains, all new plumbing and pipes from the city service. And then we're going to be replacing the vanities sinks, but that's a historical fact. But the Perry Plumbing bid is $2,280. Yes. The third bid is with Godfrey Home Improvements, and they're the folks that are going to be doing the painting and the rest of the exterior work. We've agreed to pay for the period correct gutters and downspouts on the 1 storage section of the home. That cost is $1,920. And we have got Mr. Godfrey to give us a price for replacing the cellar doors with a modern Bilco security door. That way we have an emergency exit from the basement of the building at all times. And that is $2,200. So we're right in there around $17,000, $18,000 this year.
Okay.
Did everybody hear that okay?
Okay, Billy, it's Terry again. And my understanding is you have the money, you've gotten donations, and the Historical Society is going to take care of that. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. We expect Mr. Sauter and the Public Works Department to oversee the entire process. We'll be starting with the electrical service. We'll have Mr. Keach, Mr. Godfrey Mr. Sauter get together and discuss it. There will be only one crew working at the property at a time, so we won't have anybody working over one another. Once that process is complete and the Public Works Department is satisfied with the project, we will pay the bill. Then we are going to move on to the plumbing, and as soon as we can get Perry Plumbing in there to do that, we'll repeat the same process again. And then we also will pay Mr. Godfrey in advance for the gutters, downspouts, and the Bilco doors. So while they're painting this summer, he can go ahead and complete that project.
I move
Good
that the
job.
city approve the following contracts for the repairs of the McQueen House with the stipulation that all financial responsibility for said repairs shall be the responsibility of the Perry Historical Society, that the DPW superintendent shall supervise the work to be undertaken and approve any deviation from the contracts, and that the contractors furnish adequate proof of liability insurance and workers' compensation insurance prior to commencing work on the project.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Grass, seconded by Cottrell to approve the resolution as just read. Is there discussion?
One question. The attorney had some concerns. Is the fact that the figures are not on the paper that was given to us, is that going to be any problem?
Well,
Given verbally, but not on
I,
our paperwork.
I could amend that motion to add the numbers if you like, Mindy.
No, John's got them. The numbers are
Okay.
out there and he gave them to us.
Okay.
And it's under 50,000, which he's he's addressing about the bonding performance bond.
Well, and there was a couple other things too, but if that's good, if verbal is good, that works for me.
Chris, did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh, I almost forgot what I was going to say. Yeah. Did you relay this to Billy in case he can't hear me? James,
I can hear you.
why was he can hear me? All right.
Yeah.
Billy, why did you present this with the number blacked out? Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, we don't want financial numbers floating around. No offense to anyone. We just wanted to keep it confidential, and we expected a request from the city to provide those numbers, and we're more than happy to do so. We don't have a problem sharing our costs with the city. We just wanted to make sure that those numbers are kept confidential.
Could you hear him okay, Chris?
And because of yeah, I heard that. Is anything to do with oh geez, you're gonna have to come back to me because I can't think of what the word was, but a charity, a nonprofit. Does that have anything to do with it?
Any what?
Does the nonprofit part of it have anything to do with showing?
Well, we're a
dollar sign.
nonprofit corporation. Our finances are private. Our expenditures and our intake is private information, but we're prepared to share these costs with the city for the purpose of getting these projects done. We have no hidden agenda or anything like that. We just want to make sure that these projects get done, and we're prepared to pay the bill. And we want John Sauter to oversee
Absolutely.
every work.
He's the man.
Anything else, Chris?
Thank you, Billy. I didn't want to suggest that there's anything shady. I just wanted to make sure that I was correct with a nonprofit and none your business how much it is unless it's official.
I would assume a nonprofit would
Well,
have had to vote that those numbers too, which they probably have it in their minutes too.
That's
Cool.
correct.
That's all I wanted to ask.
That the work gets done, and that's why we did the fundraising, and that's why we've got the support we have. There are other projects coming along over the next couple of years, and a lot of work going to be done on the home. And we're going to be coming back to you again here before long and let you know what our next projects are going to be.
I appreciate that.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Terry.
Okay, I guess my question is, why are we sending it down to the lawyer to look at instead of just asking Billy what the amount was?
Well, Terry,
We
would you
made-
have known to write a motion that says contractors furnish proof of liability and workers' compensation insurance? I just wanted an appropriate motion that covered everything. We're
Well, this
talking
is
about a valuable piece of property that
The way-
belongs to
The way I
wanted to make
read the
sure we
lawyer's,
covered
the way I read the lawyer's letter, that the last paragraph kind of bothered me. We paid him to give an opinion on that or whatever, but I get an impression that there was something wrong because he didn't put the numbers. You asked for the numbers, he gave them to us. I don't know why we did what we did with the lawyer, but I'm ready for a vote.
Numbers, John, and you saw them.
Well, I don't know, Terry. I just wanted to make sure you had an appropriate motion in dealing with the city assets and that we handled this correctly. That's why the
Yeah,
lawyer was brought in.
I would like to amend that motion just a little bit, if possible. And the amendment that I would like to add to that motion is just that, Billy, if you would, to just turn in the paperwork, with those numbers in writing, that would be much appreciated. If we could do that, so just to add that amendment.
I'll have it for you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bill.
very much, and thanks for all consideration and all the work that y'all have been doing on it.
Thank you, Bill. This is Terry.
Okay,
Okay,
so I think we had the original motion from Grass. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
And amended to add in that the paperwork be turned in with the numbers. And who was our second?
Cottrell?
Genevieve, do you sustain your second on this?
I do.
Okay, I think I heard her. So moved by Grass, seconded by Cottrell for the resolution as read, adding in that the paperwork come in with the numbers included. And are we ready to vote, or is there further discussion?
Ready to vote.
I don't see any discussion, so Councilwoman Galbavy,
Yes.
Councilman Grass,
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilman Wood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cottrell,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott. Motion passes unanimously, all yeses. Okay. Shall we get back to the repairs that Mindy, the painting repairs that Mindy had brought up? It was a proposed contract with Godfrey. Do we have the amount of what that was? John, do you have that information?
Godfrey's contract was for 15.5. You had approved 6,400. After the veto. So what is left is 9,100. And I would like the city to cover that.
John, is the 9,100 in line with the bid that you had from Godfrey regarding the painting? He gave us a thumbs up, so I take that to be a yes. So are you making a motion to approve the 9,100 to Godfrey's?
Can we do that with it under a discussion? This is a money amount that wasn't put up for a possible approval.
Oh, I thought we discussed that at the last meeting, having it on.
Yeah,
Wouldn't it
we
be
have
considered?
discussed it.
Wouldn't it be considered part of the other motion of paying the first part?
I'm not following you, Terry.
Well, I don't know. We got a motion to pay part of it. And I'm just saying, is that a way to go ahead and do it or not? Does it tie in with the first motion of paying 6,500?
There was
Not
no
in my
motion on
opinion.
that.
That was something that was done separate.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Is it gonna, ask Billy if it's gonna hurt if we can wait till the next meeting to do this? If it is, then I'd like to put it on there and get a special meeting and do it again. Get it done.
We have talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, council, I thought was clear at the last meeting that they wanted to have this up for a vote. this
I
time.
didn't.
Well, that's what I thought,
didn't.
but
I didn't hear anything in discussion of that amount. Just discussion of the repairs in McQueen House. So I apologize, but all I have is discussion of repairs in McQueen House. There's no saying approval of a bid. There's nothing in front of a council with a dollar amount. And this is definitely a dollar amount and a motion that was vetoed down.
Yeah, because I don't
I have
another.
no bid in front of me of this 9,100. I have nothing for you guys to approve.
That's what we discussed at a couple of meetings, that we would possibly pay the remainder of the money that was budgeted originally.
I agree with that discussion was done. I just not have received anything as an agenda packet or a dollar amount to present to you to approve. I was under the impression that this was a discussion, whether this should be an approval or it's a no. And it sounds like you want to approve it. You just don't, I don't have anything in front of you, a dollar amount to approve as an agenda item. It's a discussion.
Can we legally approve it now? That's what my question is.
Not the dollar amount.
How about just approve it to be done? Give the go ahead to do it and put a dollar amount next time. That was sneaky, wasn't it? I'm trying.
Well, then can we put it on next agenda that we?
Yes, I'm sorry, Mindy. All I had was the agreement and the discussion about this painting, but there should be a bid of that 9,100, and I don't have anything to prove that for you guys to approve.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Somebody asked Billy if we okay this
bid.
Chris has got his hand up. So can we recognize Councilman Powell and hear from him?
That's what happens when you follow the rules. Okay, these bids from Billy were done. Sorry, Derek. These bids were taken a year, almost 2 years ago. The work is not done yet. And I know how important it is to get this thing going, because we're going to have weather and rain and snow for a few more days. We got the roof and everything done. My concern is bids taken 2 years ago. As a business owner, could any of you just say, yeah, I'll give you that bid from 2 years ago when the paint's got more expensive, when the labor's gone up? This is really, really dragging. And there's a lot of people in this city that are depending on us. And I don't want to drag this anymore. We've had so much support from the people of Perry for the McQueen House. I know the mayor and the staff, they want it done too. It's frustrating that we can't vote on this tonight. And if not, can we have a special meeting on Monday? Okay, have 24 hours notice for a special meeting the weekend. If we can't do it tonight, I'd like to call a special meeting on Monday.
Okay.
Again, we raise our hands and we get to talk.
Hey, Chris. It's not 2 years old. The bid we reconfirmed with Mr. Godfrey when Mindy brought this up and said she'd like to proceed. We went back to Mr. Godfrey to confirm that the bid was still valid and give him an opportunity to change it. And that this is what he gave us. So we did update with him regarding that.
Wonderful.
If you guys have all of the accounts together, so if you guys want to move this ahead quickly, then if you can be available by Zoom on Saturday, I'll call a special meeting, which will give us 24 hours to post, and we won't have to serve you at your house because everybody's here. And if we can set a time for Saturday to get together on Zoom, we can move this forward. Will that be satisfactory to everybody?
Let me ask.
I think we can do it at next meeting.
Somebody asked Billy how quick it's got to be and when he needs it.
It doesn't have to be quick. It's from a year ago.
Saturday will be
But
fine.
Mindy, right
It's
now,
really
the
like-
governor's
Bill-
saying
Billy
we can
says,
go back and do construction
yesterday.
work. Let's get it started because the governor already said we could do it now.
Billy said what?
That's why the governor's okayed construction. And the
Okay,
way Billy laid it out is,
You guys can hear Billy.
If
Go ahead.
you all will take the time Saturday to approve Mr. Godfrey to continue with the paint work and stuff, I really, really appreciate that. And remember, we're only going to keep one crew on site at a time. So if we can get this paint and this exterior work done while we got good weather, we'll have plenty of time to do the electrical and the other things. If you guys could get this going Saturday, the Historical Society would be very grateful.
I could do Saturday.
So if I can get
I can
four
do
of you-
Saturday.
Yes, as long as we have four, we'll be okay. So, can we say, Devin,
Yeah,
we need you for the Zoom meeting, so what
I
time?
can't be there, sorry. No, I'm just
Oh.
kidding. My one and only joke.
Oh.
Okay, what time?
Not funny, not funny. What do you, when and where?
Well, I assume that, we'll all do this from our tablets. I'll be at my office up in St. John's working, but I'll log on to a tablet and,
Okay. So a
Do the
virtual
meeting.
meeting,
yes.
okay?
But what time's gonna work for you, Devin?
I don't have anything scheduled. You make the time.
Okay, let's say 1 in the afternoon. Will that be okay with everybody?
Works.
Yes.
You can set for, but I won't be able to be here.
I'm sorry, Adam?
I will not be able to be present.
Okay, so then we need everybody else because Mr. Elliott can't be here. Chris, you're a yes?
Yes,
Terry, you're a yes for 1 o'clock?
Yes. Yes.
Steve, you're a yes? Mindy, you're available at 1 o'clock by Zoom?
Yes.
Genevieve, can you do 1 o'clock by Zoom? That'll give us our quorum. So I'm officially calling a special meeting to approve the $9,100 bid for 1 o'clock on Saturday by Zoom.
Mayor, can I just add that I apologize that I did not get that communication, that was the intention. I thought it was to get everybody on board to put it on the agenda for approval in the next one.
I'm sorry too, I should have caught that. But,
nothing to apologize about, Devin.
Okay,
You're the
special.
glue.
We're all good.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
okay,
Ladies and gentlemen, we must move on. I have no lights out here. I'll be in the dark shortly.
okay. Mindy, are you okay if I turn my phone off because, Craig's phone has gone out, and so if I turn my phone off, are you hearing us okay through Zoom?
It hasn't done that for a little bit, so, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can set Craig up to use my phone. What else are you gonna do?
I hear something.
Okay, let me give you my phone.
Somebody was at home.
I guess the end is me.
Sanctuary City, what is?
099.
Yeah, Craig Elliott's phone died.
So it was approved. That works if you have, so I don't know how it works with both of them running under my account. Probably not.
You know, my papers don't die.
Okay, so that clears up old business and moves us on to new business. Possible approval of resolution regarding redetermination of special assessment district. So the clerk reported on this, and I'll open the floor up for questions, discussion, and motions.
Somebody remind me what that's for.
That's the ambulance assessment, the increase. Go ahead.
So he wants to change the amount?
From $45 to increase it by 10%, which would be $49.50.
What reason did he give?
Actually, if you remember, Mr. Powell, or not Mr. Powell, I'm sorry, Mr. John Plowman reported, and he gave a report that the CESA board has agreed, and they are recommending it to go to $75 once this is considered for renewal. So they cannot get, even though that's what they feel to run the everything, they can't do 75 at this time according to what our current special assessment resolution states.
So we can only give him the 49 anyway.
This time, and this is the last year for the special assessment. Will be in the works this year. I'll bring it to in the next month. I don't necessarily the next meeting because COVID keeps me hopping. We'll start working. I've been already, the attorney is aware of it, to give you some information to consider whether you want to do this another 10 years. My history shows the last two have been in a 10-year span. City attorney is advising me he believes you could do it longer and put it in place, and then would give you suggestions. And it's quite a process. Everybody has to be, letters has to be given out to every resident, taxpayer, and quite a public process for a special assessment because it goes to everybody.
Isn't it amazing the amount of work that goes in at City Hall from the staff?
Well, I guess it's just
Further
$4.
questions,
I don't know.
discussion, or motions regarding the this is an item that requires council action at this time for the 10%.
And the reason being is this goes on July taxes. So this determination has to be approved or stay the same.
If we went longer, if we go longer with this $49.50, 10 years, could we be saving money if we did it every 5 years? Because it could go up higher.
What? I can't answer that tonight. All I'm telling you is this special assessment that you're on with the $45, it's in its last year. And this is the first time in 10, if not 20 years, that it's even been increased. And it can only be increased 10%. And so when I talked to Guy Hubbard, he said, please at least do it the 10% this year. And then we will recommend, if council considers on doing another special assessment for another 10 years, we are recommending that you begin at the $75. We are recommending that you begin at the $75. So I don't know if I answered your question, Chris, for sure on the savings part.
Oh, okay, well, you said it can only go up to percent, so I'm cool with that. With Guy Hubbard asking this, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I don't think we're getting the reports from the fire department like we should. I don't think they're talking with us often enough. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. Absolutely. The 10% is cool, but you know, I would like to hear from him once in a while to see how everything's going with them leaving town possibly.
John Plowman reports almost quarterly because he is on the representative SESA. It's not Guy Hubbard. Usually John, our representative, reports. Plus you're getting their monthly minutes. And that's, I guess, when you would follow through and special request them to come to your meeting if you would have a question. But you've identified Guy in particular. And I just wanted to let you know that John Plowman is reporting for SESA.
John Plowman, okay.
Because he is our SESA representative.
Okay, my bad. Thank you.
Mayor Genevieve.
Oh, yep, Genevieve.
Do I need to read the whole resolution to make the motion?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to make a motion then, please.
We recognize you.
Thank you. I move that we accept and approve the following resolution. Resolved that whereas on October 6, 2006, the city of Perry created the Ambulance Service Special Assessment District, and the district has subsequently been renewed. And whereas the city is required to make a redetermination of costs for the district yearly at the first city council meeting in May at 7:15 p.m. And whereas the city reserved the right to increase the assessment at the time of the annual redetermination in an amount not to exceed 10% of the cost established for the prior year. Therefore, the city of Perry does determine to establish the annual ambulance service special assessment at $49.50 per unit. The city assessor is directed to spread the said assessment upon the city's July 2020 tax roll.
Second.
Moved by Cottrell, seconded by Galbavy. The resolution is spread. Is there further discussion? Is council prepared to vote? Councilman Grass. Councilman Grass.
Yes.
Councilman Powell.
Yes.
Councilman Wood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cottrell.
Yes.
Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Galbavy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Then we will move on to discussion of maps for 2020 Ross DeLue Perry Pride Award. Did everybody get a chance to look over the map from the prior year? Given with this crisis that we were running out of time, I'm grateful that Councilman Grass agreed to take it on for May. What we need to determine is the rest of the schedule.
Where's Adam doing?
Charles area.
Adam has, he has the northeast section of the city.
So we're still doing the same sections then?
Well, because Adam had that last year and I was asking him to come in without consulting with council, I had suggested he keep the same. You guys, I think it'd be easier if you kept the same one, but you don't have to. You guys put your time.
I'm a rule.
I'm good.
I go by the rule.
I'll take June.
And just to be clear,
Same area.
color coded.
quarter.
Okay, so May on mine has Powell and is now Grass. Is that my understanding?
Yes, Grass is keeping the same section he was in, but
he's doing September. Chris, he's doing May. Chris,
are you willing? Sure.
I'm anytime. I'm good.
Okay, so let's give Chris September for his same section as last year. The middle
September.
south section. Terry, are you okay? Section in July?
That's fine.
Okay, and Genevieve, you're taking the spot that was okay with August.
Are you okay with August? You get Perry Lake.
I am.
And Mindy, are you okay with
finishing it up in October and taking Perry Oaks and Country View Estates?
Yes.
Okay,
I think that gets everything set for this award.
thank you, everybody. Discussion or questions? Okay, then we'll close that section of the agenda. We have a discussion about becoming a sanctuary city. I believe this is yours, Mr. Wood. Terry?
I didn't hear you, James. You cut out on me.
I said, the next section of our agenda is discussion about becoming a sanctuary city. I think this is yours.
Yes. Boy, I can't hardly hear you. You're echoing on me, but I got you. I brought that up. It don't do a lot. It only just lets us know that we want to keep our Second Amendment rights, but it don't do anything. I'd like to become a sanctuary city. So I thought I'd bring it out to the board for everybody to talk about. Turn it over to whoever wants to talk.
Do you have something for us to look at, Terry?
No, I don't. Not with me. No. If you want, leave it on the next one. I'll see what I can get here. I can get some stuff. I'm not at home right now.
Okay.
I hope you're
I
practicing
don't wanna
social
speak for council,
distance.
But I'm assuming, I know if I make a decision, I'd like to see what it is that I'm talking about before I consider it.
Okay, I'll get it for you. Put it on the next one. That
Do I
work?
have consent with council to leave this on, no action taken?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So we'll move on to the next item of new business, which is possible approval of cleaning contract. Devin, do you have anything that you want to report on regarding this before we take it up for discussion?
I'm actually going to hand that over to John. John has done the interviewing and all of that.
John.
Okay, yes. I did interview two companies right about the time that we were looking. This pandemic struck out on us, so people were either too busy or didn't want to meet. So the company that, out of the two, I got one estimate back. We did talk to a third, and they did not seem quite inclined to want to participate. So this company here, they're out of Bath. It's a smaller company. They did say they had cleaning services from over near Grand Rapids south towards Novi, I believe.
For adding stuff up.
And
It looks.
so per month, it's basically a per month by month thing. There's no long-term contract with them to clean City Hall, all 3 floors. It would be $1,260 a month, and it's like a 30-day type of contract. So we're not locked into anything long-term like that. I went over everything pretty much. The city's going to be supplying the supplies just as we did. We just won't have an employee. We'll have them to deal with. And so they're insured. The owners themselves will come and clean for 3 or 4 weeks, get it down, then they'll bring in their person, train them how they want it done. And it sounded like a good thing to me.
So is there discussion or motions? I'm opening the floor.
I was wondering, how does this compare to what we've done in the past?
In the past, we had an employee. This is going to be done predominantly after hours. You know, that's what these guys do. So we won't have an employee or a part-time or however, it'll just be a contract.
One of our police officers has been handling this for several years.
You want me to put this in play?
No,
It's up to you.
Mr. Powell has his hand up.
thank you for recognizing me. Hey, John, is this
Yes.
once a month, once a week? How exactly does this work for them?
So it's 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I believe is what we discussed. I think the total number of hours per month was going to be around 36 is what they figured they could do it in.
36
You know-
hours in the month?
Yes. Some of the areas don't get used that often, but they'll go through. Go ahead.
Okay, that sounds good. The other question I have is, when we open City Hall, whenever that may be, but whenever we open City Hall, do they have because in the contract, it says just a basic cleaning services. Do they have another level they can go up to sanitize the building? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I know $1,260 a month for 3 days a week that's a really, really good price. But do they clean it better than just a basic to get back in the City Hall from the
Okay.
COVID-19?
So I went through as far as office space and desks. You know, if you leave paperwork and stuff all over your countertops, they will dust around them. As far as touching
Yes.
keyboards, they do not touch anybody's keyboards, monitors, mouse, anything like that. They do not disturb, because I went over it pretty thorough with them, what and what not they do. But they wipe everything down. You know, we'll provide all the disinfectant. So, you know, windows, if the windows are smudged up, they're going to clean them.
I
How much
assume
more
they're
it would
bonded.
cost to sanitize doorknobs and that type of stuff? It's probably going to come in there and just be something that happens. Whatever they can get done in this amount of time, you know, if we need to tweak things as we go along, you know, I don't see a problem with that. This is kind of new for me also.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of HLC Investments. They've been around for a while, and it's a really good company.
This contract
you know,
was
like I said,
created
it's not
by.
like we're signing on. But go ahead.
Sorry, I was just to reiterate, the contract that you put was by our city attorney. And this is to make sure that is in black and white, that they are contracted and insured company. And then John did all the work of the interviewing and making sure that the company that's put in front of you can do the job that we need to do.
Very good job, John. Thank you.
No, we're switching it because the police officer who had been handling it turned in his resignation from doing it. Genevieve?
I would like to make a motion if discussion is over. Yes?
I'm not hearing an objection.
Okay, I move that we approve the cleaning service contract that was presented with the understanding that it shall be in effect upon signing, and either party may terminate agreement with the 30-day written notice. And furthermore, we authorize payment not to exceed $1,260 per month, and will authorize the superintendent of public works to sign the agreement.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Elliott,
Moved by Cottrell, seconded by Elliott.
approve the cleaning contract as just read. Is council ready to vote?
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilman Wood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cottrell,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Galbavy,
Yes.
Councilman Grass.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. That will move us on to possible approval of pet waste receptacles with grant. Is this John or is this Devin?
Yep, both.
Okay,
So the council has hired CIB, Justin Sprague is your communication, and he placed this mini grant in front of us. It's through the I-69 corridor section, and they're giving $2,000 mini grant for beautifying your city in a small way. And due to COVID and everything that kind of trickled down, I went to John and I said, look, we should try for this. What do you think the city could use? This is the thought process John came up with, this Poly Products. And if you want to explain a little bit about them, John, on that it's local and all that you told me about.
Yeah, the company, I just got a flyer for it. They have a dispenser it's a trash can with a pet waste bag dispenser. I believe they're manufactured over in Mulliken, west of Lansing, a little ways. We don't have to purchase them there. It was just an idea, a suggestion that might be a good thing to put in the parks.
And so this
Great thing.
So this grant has extended, like I told you, it's been submitted for the $2,000. So the goal is that the budget had allowed $6,000. I didn't want to take from that, but that's the money that I'm putting in front of you to propose in this motion that will be used. And of course, until July 1st, I have no guarantee whether we will get this grant. So it's up to you whether you would like to approve this now, whether we get the grant or not, and utilize part of that $6,000 out of this budget. Now, I'm being told if you read into this mini grant that if we are rewarded it, we will get reimbursed in September of this 2020.
So we would have to purchase this and then we may or may not get the grant.
We could hold off after the budget and still wait for that July 1st. But I'm letting you know what I put in the mini grant and I sold this project on was in this budget. So these do not have to be purchased in this budget, but you'll have to consider that when we go into budget talks to make sure if you do want this, that the budget funds are available. because there's no guarantee until July 1st, and we'll have our budget approved by July 1st. So
Devin,
yes.
a few years ago, the parks were talking about purchasing these, and I have a catalog that I do believe 100, maybe 150 cheaper, and that were very, very nice. So I'd like to say, yes, let's do this without making the purchase right away. We can find them. I think 6 1/4 is a little high, but if that's what it goes for, that's what it goes for right now. This was a couple years ago when I seen the prices. So whatever everybody else wants to do, John, I think you two did a great job doing this, and it's something that we will need. And then after that, we'll be able to get Craig and everybody else involved in writing a new ordinance for a stiffer penalty. And I don't even know what our ordinance say about leaving dog feces behind, but that is something that we should think about.
Okay, can I put this thought process in? This goes to Mr. Powell. We could shop around, and I do agree with that. If we were going to shop around, I would recommend that you don't approve it tonight.
Okay.
This is what we've put towards this. I would say, if we get the grant, you're only going to need about $500 out of your budget. We can always get something cheaper. I think the quality of this is good. It looks like a park, and we can always find something cheaper that'll do the job. I purposely like this product and what it offers, an extra trash plus the dispenser, everything's in there. Dispensers, you can buy just dispensers, and we have a grant on the table. So I guess to backtrack, I would like to, if you're concerned that they're kind of pricey, that to consider in the budget the $500, that $500 could be used if this is possibly grant awarded, to use it in the next budget. Is that something that you would consider? Or Chris, or you're saying you want it back to the Parks Committee and you want to go actually go find the best price and which ones you want, which I'll respect that.
Yeah, I didn't mean it to where, oh no, let the parks take care of it. I'm grateful for what you and John have done, Devin. If we can push this till the next meeting and vote on it.
It can wait even longer than that. You could actually, I have submitted the grant, and the only difference is if we don't get approved July 1st, it's a mute subject. And then you could go and price lower and then just work out of a cash budget is what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be approved today.
Okay, because I thought we'll find out June 1st, but maybe I'm wrong here.
They had, what I reported in the beginning of the meeting, that I received an email when I came in today that they have extended both deadlines. They've extended the submittal to June 1st, and the grant awards will be now told on July 1st. So due to COVID-19, they have moved everything a month forward. So at the time I was doing this, I was meeting the deadline that you speak of now.
Okay, I just said, oh, now I found it. So yes, absolutely. I say we just push it.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. I just wanted to make sure you knew the dollar amount and what we have submitted for that grant. So I would say we need to stay tight with this idea until we're denied. As long as you understand that their $500 will have to be considered in next year's budget.
Next year's parks budget?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So no, or do you want to just table this or no action taken?
Yes.
A motion to
I'd
table
like
it.
to table this discussion.
Do you want to table indefinitely or to a time certain?
Let's go indefinitely after, what's the first meeting, second meeting in July?
Yep, give me a second and I can flip.
Okay. Terry, what do you think? What is, Mindy? What does everybody else think about it?
I like that it's manufactured in Michigan. That matters to me.
That is big.
I have July 16th as a second meeting in that we have.
Is there a reason we wanted to wait till July and not just June?
Well, because we don't know whether we're getting the money in July until July.
They've extended the grant rewarding to July 1st now. It was June 1st. And as of today, they've extended it.
So we wouldn't be able to find out if we have the grant till at least July.
Correct, which means that if we get it, because what I'm hearing Chris say is that he's not comfortable spending that much amount of money and not getting a guarantee for the grant. So in my opinion, then you would just wait to see. But the only problem is the funds are in parks now. That'll have to be in the thought process to have those funds available to approve. Remember the whole amount, and we'll get reimbursed $2,000. The expense of the 500 is what would end up.
Thank you.
Yes.
And whatever, well, you're not James, Craig, whatever you think, Adam, Terry, it's up to you guys. Whatever everybody thinks about this,
It makes sense to me to wait till July.
I agree.
Thank
All right,
you.
anything else?
Okay, so I think we have a motion from Powell to table this until the second meeting in July. Is that correct,
Please.
Chris?
Yes,
Is
sir.
there
I'll second.
moved by Powell, seconded by Elliott to table possible approval of pet waste receptacles with grant until the second meeting in July. Is there discussion? Council ready to vote? Councilman Wood.
Nod, Terry.
Councilman Wood. Turn your volume on, Councilman Wood.
I'm unmuted.
Hi, Terry. What's your vote?
Yes. You got it?
Councilwoman Cottrell.
Yes.
Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Galbavy.
Yes.
Councilman Grass.
Yes.
Councilman Powell.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. That will move us to the next item of new business, which is the SATA proposal. The millage is up, and so to continue to provide SATA service for the city, the millage has to be placed on the ballot again. In the past, this has passed by a huge margin, and so we are recommending that this be put back on the ballot again for a $0.25 which is what it's been for a very long time. And it has never reached the entire $0.25 in all the years that we've had it. We're proposing to put it before the voters for a possible approval of 4 years. Requires council's approval to put it on the ballot. Devin, did you have anything that you needed to add to this?
The council has the option to put this on the August ballot or the November ballot if you're going to put it on the August ballot, it would, what is today, the 7th? It must be passed at this meeting because the deadline for proposals is May 12th. So there's no pressure other than on which election you want this proposal to be on.
I move that we accept and adopt the following resolution. Whereas the Perry City Council believes that it is desirable to provide for the future of public transportation available to city residents by continuing the levy of a millage for that purpose. And whereas the Michigan Constitution of 1963 requires that the levy of the continuation of a millage be authorized by a vote of the electorate. And whereas an election is presently scheduled to be held in the city on August 4th, 2020, now therefore be it resolved that the following proposal be certified to the county clerk and be submitted to the electors in the city of Perry at the August 4th, 2020 election. Continuation of public transportation millage. This proposal requests authorization for the levy of the continuation of a millage for the purpose of supporting the provision of public transportation services in the city of Perry. This millage would be used to defray the expenses of existing transportation services provided by the Shiawassee Area Transportation Agency and be used to defray the expenses of transportation services in the future. If authorized by the voters, it is estimated that the levy of the entire millage would generate $11,520.25 the first year. Shall a special millage for public transportation services be levied in an amount not to exceed 0.25 mil or 25 cents per 1,000 of taxable valuation annually for a period of 4 years?
Support. Am I yelling?
What?
Am I yelling? Okay. I'm not yelling.
James, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. Is council ready to vote? Councilwoman Cottrell,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Galbavy,
Yes.
Councilman Grass,
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilman Wood.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. That will move us to discussion and possible approval of essential worker stipends. Chief Falk, this is yours.
All right, thank you very much, Mayor. I've had this thought for the last several weeks in response to what I see our police department responding to and how they're responding to it. These are unprecedented times, and I have to tell you that I have been more than impressed with the men of our department and how they've responded and how they have interacted with the public in a safe manner, a professional manner, but also doing their job and doing it diligently to maintain life and property. They've endured a lot of mandates from me on how we respond to this, how we start our shifts, how we clean our equipment, how we share all the different vehicles and how we clean those interior areas. And all that being said, we've heard, I'm sure some of you have heard the rumblings of hazard pay and things like that. I don't tend to lean towards that. I don't like that idea a whole lot. We have equipment. We have very serious equipment that we train with on a daily basis. We are equipped. We are well equipped to handle all kinds of different crises and situations. So we put ourselves in harm's way anytime we put on the uniform. But that being said, due to the times and what we are seeing and how we are responding, I want to, first of all, just applaud our officers and how they responded and how they have adapted and equip themselves, but also need to do their job and do it as diligently as they have. So that being said, we've heard some rumblings at the federal level and at the state level that frontline workers will be compensated in some way. I'm not holding my breath for either one of them. The effort and the professional job that our officers have done could be done at the city level. And that being said, I have a proposal to compensate the officers for the amount of $2 for the hours that they have worked. It's not a straight 80 hours per pay period, but it does reflect the hours that they have worked. So if they've had sick time, or if they've had vacation or personal time, it wouldn't be added to that. But any hours worked, I would like to see the city recognize them for their efforts and what they have, and I put that before you. I do apologize. I had a good Excel spreadsheet created with the officers and the hours that in an afternoon out there. So I apologize. I do get that, and it gives a total amount of what we'd be looking for to pay that out. That amount at this point could come out of my budget. It will be tight, and I will adjust some things from being purchased this year to waiting until after July 1st and getting into the budget. But I'm going to hold this up. I can still answer questions or anything like that. You just won't see me. I don't know if, let me know if you can see that or not.
I'm having trouble hearing again.
Can you move it up
How much
somehow?
more?
360. All right. Boom, boom, boom.
Is everyone able to see that?
Yes, I can.
If it's too dark, I can provide another light source maybe.
I think you need to pull it back just a little bit. We can't quite see the whole page.
There you go.
Sorry, kind of flying blind.
And then go up. Perfect.
That's a total of 2520.
Yes. I did complete this, not knowing the end of how this payroll would play out, and there have been some minor adjustments. If anything, that amount will be less, simply due to some personal time that has been used.
I move that we approve a essential worker stipend to the police force in the amount of 2520.
Could you make the
Second.
motion? Could you make the motion not to exceed 2520?
I make a motion to approve an essential worker stipend for the police department not to exceed 2520.
Is your second stand, Mindy?
What?
Oh, did you say second?
No, that was,
Oh, Genevieve,
That
does
was
your
Genevieve. I believe that was Genevieve.
moved by Grass, seconded by Cottrell to approve the essential worker stipend not to exceed $2,520. Is there discussion? Is council ready to vote? Councilman Elliott.
Chris
Yeah.
has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris, go ahead.
Chief, if this went on, this goes on for another month, is this something that we have to go back to and say, well, from the date that you had left is not to exceed 2,500? What if there's another $1,000 that we're not prepared for? Meaning, should we, I don't know, hold this back off the table? In theory, absolutely agree with it. And if there's not enough money in the police fund in your budget, that maybe that extra, forever how long it takes, could come out of another, I don't know, the city budget. John has a lot of money in the motor pool. Just kidding, John. But your officers, I agree, need to be compensated a little bit more. And these are crazy times. So I'm just worried if we say yes right now to Adam's proposal, that we'll have to do it all over again if it's another month or two that you are still working under these conditions.
Yeah, I appreciate that concern and that idea. My thinking was this would be a one-time offering, and it would be just simply to show some level of acknowledgement and gratitude for a job well done by these men. As far as it continuing, I think we're going to live with COVID-19 for a long time, and I think we're all going to have to adjust and learn how to work in the confines of any kind of restrictions. That being said, the last 4 pay periods have been trying for everyone, and they have adapted well, and they have adjusted, and they have the same things going on at their homes that we all have had, and they've been restricted on seeing family. They've adjusted some significant plans. They've had family that is in their home that they weren't planning on having in their home, but due to certain other quarantines going on, they've adopted grandchildren. So they have done all of that in the weeks and the time or the pay periods that I showed on that sheet. And I would consider just us moving forward and just using this as a one-time event to show that we appreciate our men in uniform.
Thank you. Then I vote yes.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay, so we'll go back. Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Galbavy.
Yes.
Councilman Grass.
Yes.
Councilman Powell.
Yes.
Councilman Wood. Your mute's on, Terry.
Now it's on.
Yes, you're on. Councilman Wood.
I'm on?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cottrell.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Business may come before council. This is our second opportunity for public comment. Billy, would you like to make public comment at this time?
Yes, I would.
I'm going to give my tablet to Billy so that you can all clearly hear his public comment.
Listen, I just want to, from a citizen of Perry, I want to thank you all. I want to thank the council in a whole and each one of you individually, the mayor, our chief of police, our law enforcement people, our city workers, all the folks that are taking care of us in this bad time. I really appreciate you. I know this is tough. I know it's hard to do these meetings this way, but you're greatly appreciated. On behalf of the Historical Society, I want to thank you all so much for your support tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Billy. Are any of the members of the public with us on Zoom? Would they like to be recognized and speak? Devin, are there any hands raised?
No, there is not.
Okay, and we'll close the second session of public comment and we'll move to any other business may come before council. Do council have any other items of business that they want to vote on tonight?
Well, I don't have anything to vote on, but I'd like to settle this thing whether the girls are going to be back in the city hall next week.
Okay, Terry? Tell me what you want to do.
Well, I'd like to keep them out. I mean, as long as we're running the city until Devin gets to a crunch time, keep them out, keep them safe. I mean, we've got low numbers. Let's keep them low.
I agree with Terry.
I agree.
I move to keep the girls out of the office at this point and out of the office until the next meeting to which it can be reassessed.
Okay, so I'm going to take that as a motion from Councilman Grass to close Perry City Hall until council approves its opening. Is that a fair representation of what you're saying, Adam?
I think that's not quite right. What I'm saying is I think it needs to be reassessed because even at this moment, we don't meet the federal guidelines to reopen. And so I think that it would be appropriate to reassess it at the next meeting as a council and with mayor.
So you're making a motion to keep Perry City Hall closed until council reassesses.
As it's been happening.
Yes.
Okay, so just so we have some clarity, is there a second on the motion?
I'll support it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Grass, seconded by Councilwoman Galbavy to keep City Hall closed until council reassesses and decides to open.
At next council meeting.
And this will be on the next agenda. Okay, so are we ready to vote?
Mm-hmm.
Councilwoman Galbavy,
Yes.
Councilman Grass,
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilman Wood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cottrell,
Yes.
Councilman Elliott.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Any other matters of business council wishes to bring up for a vote tonight?
What about that letter you put out that you want to put out tomorrow about opening the city?
City's not opening on Monday. Council just closed it until you
Okay.
guys reassess it at your next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you,
good.
Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it.
You guys' right to make that decision. The council is the policy setting body for the city. Are there any other items of business that council wants to bring for a vote? Not hearing anything, I will open the floor up for council discussions and observations. Councilman Elliott. Councilwoman Galbavy.
I just want to tell Devin how much I appreciate her efforts for us to be on Zoom. I know it was a lot of work for her.
Thank you, Mindy.
Appreciate it.
Anything else, Mindy?
That's it.
Councilman Grass.
I appreciate our city workers, including you, Mayor Hughlett. We appreciate your efforts to be there. And the rest that's doing what they do. So everybody stay safe and do something productive with your time.
Thank you. Councilman Powell.
Yes, on June 25th at Adams Church, the Red Cross is going to be there for taking donations, blood donations. I'd like to challenge all city employees and council members to get there and give up some blood. It's very possible that it could be filled up by now, but they're having them in Perry couple times a month or a couple months every other month. So I'd like to make a challenge. Terry's older, so he'll bleed a lot. He won't take a lot of time.
What's that date again?
29th.
June 25.
Oh, sorry, 25th.
June 25th?
I'm sorry, hon.
All set, Mr. Powell?
Yes, that's all I want. And what Mindy said, Devin, you and your staff, John, you and your staff, and Chief Box, we thank you very much.
Councilman Wood,
No, I'm good.
Mayor Pro Tem Cottrell.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. I wonder if you could be available for a phone call to discuss scheduling after this meeting.
Yes.
I'll give you a buzz. Thank you. That gets us to the end of our agenda. Devin, I don't have a good list of agenda items for the next meeting. Do you have that?
I'm going to review really quick. Greenhouse was put on there, tabled indefinitely. I don't think you took, it was either approved, tabled to a meeting. There was no action taken on anything. I don't have any agenda items, but if I find them, I will add them if you are okay with that.
Okay. If council members have any other items that they need to put on the agenda before the next meeting, which is Thursday, May 21st, please communicate them to the clerk and we will get all appropriate items before council for your consideration. How do I get my Zoom back up?
I don't know. I see you.
I minimized in order to look at the calendar. Well, I guess I don't have to see everybody at this point. Anyway, that concludes this meeting. I would advise council that we are going to have to get into the budget process with this COVID-19 thing. We're way behind. City charter says we're to have the budget approved by the end of May. Under the crisis at this time, that's going to be an impossibility, but it is absolutely critical that we get the budget worked out before July 1st. So we're going to keep working on putting the pieces together at City Hall and get this to City Council. I've typically included council in this process in a very open way. I don't know if I'll be able to do as much and still move this forward, but let's expect at least one special meeting to discuss the details of the budget. And I'll try to include council as much as I can with a goal of getting this on the agenda before the end of June for your approval. That's all I have. Is there anything else? Thank you, everybody, for your work tonight. The time is now 9:30. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Be safe.